We'll give just a moment for everyone to find us because it's just noon. I will also put the workbook for today in the comments. So give me just a second. I'm going to see if I can get this to paste. We'll see. Yes, it went. It went into the comments. Perfect. Perfect. So you don't need to have the workbook, but it might make it easier and it is fillable so you can use it right on your computer. Or, of course, you can print it out and write on it, right? Whichever works best for you. I'm hoping that the video is going okay without like having lags. I hope that it's all right. If there is issues as we go along, don't worry. I'll make sure that it's recorded and that you have access to it if there's issues here. Like I said, I'm trying something new. We'll see how it goes. All right, so let's jump in. I'm curious. Do you dread the holidays? Chaos, overwhelm, anxiety are often used to describe the upcoming Christmas time. What would it be like to use the words joy, peace, excitement, laughs to describe the holiday time? Mm, sounds good, doesn't it? And you want to thrive during the holidays. But how? Right? Over the next 30 minutes, I will share with you the 4 steps to make this your best holiday ever. And when I say best, BEST, that's brain dump, evaluate, schedule, and test. Best. Brain dump, evaluate, schedule, and test. Now, with these 4 steps, the brain dump, evaluate, schedule, and test, you'll have no more holiday chaos, no more barely making it through to January, and no more wishing the holiday season away. It's time for you to thrive with the best holiday. Let's start with brain dump. And you'll see this on the top of the second page of your workbook. As I said, you don't need to download the workbook, but if not, you might want to have some paper to write down some notes. And you will have the fillable PDF workbook that you can use as soul work. I don't do homework, I do soul work. And we can start with some ideas, and you may want to take time later to go back and fill it in. So, brain dump. Here is where you would make a list of all the things, all the things you need to do from right now until, say, maybe mid-January. And don't worry about what order that they're in. Don't even worry if you really need to do them or not. Just get all the things out of your brain and down on paper. It could be like make a gift list, buy the gifts, wrap the gifts, pay for the gifts, mail the gifts, deliver the gifts, write your Christmas letter, buy the Christmas cards, Address the Christmas cards. Mail the Christmas cards, right? Are you tired already? Now, for me, it's easier to write the list in categories. Writing down everything I can think of to do around a topic, right? Like the gifts, the cards, the food, the decorations, cleaning the house. Now, what other categories might come up for you? It might be baking. If you're like me, I make fudge and cookies to give as gifts. It may even include travel. You may go to friends or family, or you just may escape and go to Aruba, something like that, right? Let's just take a little time for you to jot down some of the categories that might come to mind. As I said, don't worry about the timeline or the priority or even the how right now. Just let your mind get it down on paper. So anyone have a category that I haven't mentioned yet? You can go ahead and put that in the chat if there's something that maybe comes up for you. And if you're watching the replay, you may just want to pause the video and write down everything that comes to mind. Or if you want, you can skip the pauses here and watch the entire video and then come back and do your soul work later in your workbook. All right, so on the brain dump, anyone want to share a couple things that came up for you? Maybe I should just be quiet for a moment and let you jot some things down. I'll keep an eye on the chat. And as a reminder, the link for the workbook is in the comments. It's a Google Drive, so let me know if you have any trouble getting that. All right. Trying to keep an eye on the chat. Okay. Give you just a moment to think about it. All right. Next, let's evaluate. I would like you to take a look at your list through these 4 lenses. The first one is delegate. This means the task does not need to be done by you. And I invite you to push yourself with this one. For me, my favorite delegate is grocery shopping. I create my grocery list online, let someone at Kroger pick up all my things, then I drive through, they put it in my car. What's better than that? So take a look through your list. What might be something you can delegate? It could be something like order on Amazon, have them put it into a gift bag and deliver it for you, right? Allow yourself to really expand your original thoughts of, I have to do all the things. Right? So think about that. The first lens is delegate. The next lens is delete. What can be crossed off? And this may take you a few times going through to release some things on your list. Ask yourself, does this really have to be done? Is there something on your list that you really don't need to do? You just like to do? Now, it may be beneficial on your first or second sweep through the list to maybe put a question mark by the item. Those items could be done if you have time, but if they don't get done, you'll be okay. Now, this can be hard, but do you have those tasks on your list because you want to do them or because someone else expects you to do them? No judgment here, right? But this is an opportunity to get really curious about why those tasks are on your list. The third lens is delay. What could you put off until later next year? Is there something on your list that you normally do before Christmas but really could wait until sometime in January or even beyond? Now remember, you're making your brain dump list all the way to like mid-January, and some of those tasks might be able to wait until February. Even if it makes you uncomfortable to delegate or delete, I invite you to challenge yourself here. Now we'll take a few minutes shortly to let you go through what you have on your list. So hold that thought for just a minute while I go through our last category, our last lens. And this is on your list. What can only you do? Now get really honest here. I want you to star, check, or highlight those. And when I say get honest, I mean really take a look at the task and ask yourself, how might this be different? An example might be you feel like you need to be the one to put the menu together, and then from there the grocery list. And then there would be the grocery shopping, right? You get where I'm going with that. And you might be the only one to do that. But I invite you to take a look at other options. Is there someone who could start the menu and maybe take a stab at the grocery list, and then you pick it up and edit? Or is there a Pinterest post that already has a menu and the grocery list with it? You might be the only one who will be paying the bill for all the gifts. But could that be one of the items you can delay until later in January? Of course, considering the due dates, right? I just invite you to get really curious with your list. So what is coming up for you around this? I want to take a few minutes as you look through your list for items that you can delegate, delete, or delay. All right? If you have a question or comment, please jump in the comment section. I'll give you a moment where I'm just like quiet so you can work. All right. Did anything jump right out at you? Or are you struggling with letting some things go? No judgment, just be curious. Anyone want to share in the comments an idea or two that came up for you? Give that just a moment. I know that the comments are a little behind. So as you think about that, just a note on delegating, because I have a hard time with this, and you might too. I have to let go of the outcome, just release the expectations that the task is done exactly the way I want. And this can be hard. Letting it be okay, however the other person does it, however it turns out. Because keep in mind, the real outcome is your joy and your peace. It's not about if the ornaments are in the exact right spot or the gifts are wrapped perfectly. One thing that came up for me a couple years ago is to release the decorating of the cookies and let someone else do it. Were they frosted and decorated just the way I wanted them done? Now remember, I was giving them as gifts, right? So that's what I was worried about. But no, they weren't done exactly as I wanted. But after some breathing, and yes, I I teach breathing techniques too, and I use them, I practice them. So after some breathing, I could bless and release and know that my joy and peace were much more important. I didn't say it was easy. Okay? I didn't say it was easy. Okay, back to your list. Now, from your starred or highlighted list of things only you can do, ask yourself these questions. What do you love to do? What brings you joy? What's fun? Or what feels hard to do? Is there something you don't know how to do? Feelings can generate inspired action, and feelings can push you into procrastination, right? So, feelings can generate inspired action, or they can also push you into procrastination. And if something feels really hard to do, then you'll probably put it off as long as you can. And that in itself creates overwhelm and anxiety. A big part of this is awareness. If there are tasks that feel really hard to do or you're not sure how to do it, I invite you to take another look at your list to see if any of those you can delegate or delete. Right? If of the ones that feel really hard to do or you're not sure. Take another look to see if you can delete or delegate those tasks. But now that you've whittled your list down to the things that you love to do, things that bring you joy, things that are fun, doesn't that feel better already? Now, of the things that are on your only for you to do list, prioritize the top 3 most important things on your list. What has the highest impact and the highest priority, considering your timeline? And it may be beneficial to take this 1 week at a time. Okay? Now, the next step is S for schedule. Schedule your tasks into your calendar. And remember, it's not all the things, right? When you delegate, delay, or delete, your list gets a lot shorter. And all that remains is what is only yours to do. When you look at your weekly calendar, I invite you to schedule life into the calendar first, and that includes self-care. Schedule in your exercise, your meal planning and your prep, your massage. Remember, you can't pour from an empty cup, and this is especially true around the holidays. Put these into your calendar first. Then Schedule the time for your top 3 priorities for that week. And then continue this process 1 week at a time. Okay? So most of this work will be your soul work, but you can make a couple notes here to help think about the first few priorities. So take a minute here, and what comes to mind that needs to be one of the first things on your list that needs to be done? Anything come up for you? I'll give you a second. All right. Lastly, T for test. What might get in the way? What might keep you from taking action? And consider what's behind that obstacle or the challenge. What are you believing or thinking about that task? Awareness is key. Our thoughts directly lead to our feelings. Our feelings influence our actions, and our actions predict our results. So just as an example, I asked you to look at the tasks that only you could do. And a couple of the questions to ask were what feels hard to do, or maybe you don't know how. If you believe or think you don't know how, you might be feeling frustrated or discouraged. And your actions from that might be procrastination. And then guess what the results are? You don't get done what you wanted to, and it might put you in a bit of a bind, or at the very least, stress you out. Our results are always aligned with our thoughts. Always. That goes for everything. Not just the holidays, but everything. Our results are always aligned with our thoughts. And as I said, awareness is key. So decide. Okay? Decide. Then put a plan in place. Kind of an if-then scenario. What will you do when blank? Fill in the blank. What will you do when blank? What will you do when you get distracted? Or to keep from getting distracted? What can you put in place to minimize distractions? Put do not disturb on your phone? Go to a coffee shop to do your planning? What will you do when things take longer than you think? Maybe you can schedule more time, right? That's the key. Schedule more time than you think you'll need. Plan for obstacles. Plan for obstacles because life is always lifing. If something does show up that you have to take care of, can you reschedule your priority? Don't overschedule yourself. Be honest with yourself in the amount of time you really have. White space in your calendar is one of the best gifts you can give yourself this holiday season. Follow these 4 steps. Brain dump, evaluate, schedule, and test. And create your best holiday ever. So I'd love to hear your thoughts, an aha, your biggest takeaway. You can comment here in the group, or you can message me. You can also reach out if you have questions. I'll give it just a second because I know it takes a bit to type in the chat If you have something, I'll give you a moment. All right. As I said, you can always reach out to me with questions too. Now, before we complete for today, I wanted to let you know I'm hosting another free workshop on December 28th at noon to help you set the right goals for 2024. Now, in that workshop, you'll learn the number one reason you don't hit your goals, and hint, it is not you. Number two is how to set the right goals, and number three is 5 tips for inevitable success. And you'll leave that workshop equipped with a clear action plan that aligns with your Christian faith. These tangible steps will allow you to take practical action rooted in your relationship with God and fostering spiritual growth and goal achievement. And I'll be posting more information soon, but I wanted to give you a heads up on that. Maybe you can pencil that in on your calendar. It's after the holiday, after Christmas, December 28th. Now, today sets you up for the best holiday ever, and the Goals Masterclass will set you up for success into 2024. So thank you so much for joining me today, ladies. Just have an amazing and blessed weekend. And don't forget to download the PDF, the one that I posted there in the comments, that Google Drive. And if you get stumped, please feel free to reach out. And if you have trouble with the Google Drive, please let me know. I'll make sure that I can email you just the regular PDF. And it is fillable, so you can just use your computer and work on it. So thank you so much, ladies. Be blessed, and I'll see you later.